Good morning! Hi cubies and newbies, I am Sunshine. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. Thanks for joining me. Today's Monday. We made it through a weekend. How about that? We've got, okay. I had my minxes set up for a last layer solve and I couldn't leave them sitting there. Had to solve them all. So I have decided I want to play with minxes today. Unless someone has a question, I'm happy to hop over to cubes if that's the case. But other than that, here's my selection of minxes. This one is more pretty. It's harder to follow, so I'm going to put that one away. And that leaves me with these. Alright, so we've got 5 minxes to play with today. I'm going to start by scrambling. Anybody have any questions or comments or anything you want to talk about the cubes instead? I'll be happy to hop over to that. Otherwise, let's play with the minxes. I do not know a good scramble for the minxes. But sure was I had a beautiful weekend. It was the sun was cloudy, the sky was cloudy. I love clouds. Clouds are my favorite. Bright and cloudy at the same time. Can't do better than that. Alright. Cloudy, cloudy. Okay, so while I'm scrambling, this is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. It's two formulas. Formula A is 4 moves, and it's used to bring a piece to the top and twist the top corners as needed. Formula B is 8 moves, and it's top row and 2 columns. And with that, you can move any 3 pieces around. You can move 3 pieces around, moving any one piece that you desire to move. The computer, you can't choose which 3 pieces to move around. It tells you what to do. But so bring my 3x3 here. So if for 1 row 1 column, if you use the middle row and the middle column, you get something. You get what we call boxes. So it's a way to move the absolute center up without offsetting your edges or corners. Out, down, in, up. Like everything on the cube, 3 or 6 times get you back to start. So the pieces that it moves are the centers for the top, front, and right. And then again, this piece wants to come here, so you move it away from the action. Move the space down, the piece into the space, and the piece in the space back up again. So that's formula A for the centers. If you do the corners, bottom row, right column, move the piece out, space down, piece in, piece and space back up. And it will flip the corners if that's what you want to do. But if it's done in multiples of 6, then it has the effect of being nothing. So the rest of the cube has not been affected. Because I rotated the top row as I was doing it, I affected the top row. So now I have 3 corners that are in the correct place but want to be twisted. So that's what formula A does. If you have corners that are in the right place and twisted, if you have 3 of them, they're all twisted in the same direction. If you have 2 of them, they're twisted in opposite directions, just because of the mechanics of the cube. And I wish that I had been more careful because my little M has faded on this cube. It's a really nice cube. All right, so that's formula A. Bottom row, right column. When it's the corner that you've decided to twist looks the way you want it to, slide it out of the way. Keep going on another corner it's okay to twist on. Slide it out of the way. Okay, set the top and you're done. So that's formula A. It can be used on the entire first face, but formula A affects all 6 sides, so you want to be careful. You can't use it at once for the consecutive faces. But formula B does everything else. Top row, 2 columns. If it's the top row and the outside columns, then it moves 3 corners around. They move clockwise. If you do it twice, they've moved counterclockwise, and again 3 times puts you back to the way you started. So top row outside columns does corner. If it's an edge piece is the one you want to move, then the 2 columns are where you want that piece to land, which will be on an outside column, and where it begins, which is on an inside column. So slide up, first up, second up, first down, second down, and the rest of the cube is the only 3 cubes that have moved are these 3 edge pieces. This one went here, and the rest of them rotated. Up, up, down, down, and this last one's going to make it the way you want it to be. So when you're placing them, you want the corners to match the front, and the top determines which direction it's going. So slide up, slide down, slide down. Four. Where's my 4? Give me a 4 piece. If you want to, if the 2 columns are inner columns, then you're moving the centers around. You just pick the piece that you want to move, and you go up, slide the top so it's in a different column, and then wherever it landed, that's your second column. Reverse down, reset the top, and you've moved 3 pieces around. It looks like 2 pieces, but 2 of them were red, so you couldn't tell. Up, slide down, slide down. Okay, so with that, formula A brings piece to the top, twist it. Formula B moves 3 pieces around, and that's all you need to solve every complexity Rubik's Cube, no matter how many sides they have. It works on the 3x9 as well. I don't know, so it works on some banded cubes. I haven't tried other banded cubes. I do not know if it works on how it works on shapeshifters, because shapeshifters scare me. unless they're a cube internally, just a regular cube internally. This works on every n by n by n cube, regardless of size. And it also works on the minxes, which I've now come back to. I'm going to leave this one solved so I can use it to demonstrate what the formulas do, and I'll solve these ones with you guys. Hi, you guys. Shaw? Maybe? Regress? Monday morning! Thanks for giving me part of your morning to share. Thanks for sharing part of your morning with me. All right. The minx more can be done with the minx with formula A than can be done with the cubes. I'm going to be making a tutorial for the larger cubes, but that's too much of a confusion for right now. So I go layer by layer, because on the cube it doesn't matter. You just pick a piece, throw it where it wants to be. But for these, because there's so many different sides, I go layer by layer. So I start with the white, unless anybody has any questions. Okay, so I start with the white. If I can find white. Okay. And, okay, it's not very scrambled, is it? Okay, so there's an order of operations for the minxes that doesn't exist on the cubes, and that is that on the cubes, formula B moves 3 pieces and only 3 pieces and always 3 pieces. On the minxes, if one of your 2 columns is the center, right here is the center column, such as if you're going to move the star parts around, then it does as ancillary movement. It moves more things than just what you want to move. To demonstrate, if I want to move this piece down here, so this would be a top row, first column, second column, slide up, slide up, slide down, and it moved these 3 like we wanted, but it also moved these 3 corners as well. So now I can set these 3 corners without moving the star parts, but I can't set the star parts without moving the corners. So that gives me an order of operations of wanting to do the star parts before I do the other parts. Star before non-star. Okay, that's 2. And once more. This is my baseline. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, so that's with formula B. Formula A, however, is done the same way on the minx as it does on for the first layer, for the corners, or for the first layer, and that is you find a piece that is under where it wants to be. So if I wanted to move this piece up to there, okay, first thing I would do, I would move it out of the way, face down. I'd move the cube into the space and the cube in the space back up again. Okay, now formula A affects other pieces as well, so I only do this for the first layer, and I only do it if the cube is scrambled. I don't do it if I don't want to mess up the rest of the cube. I don't use formula A. But again, that would be out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Okay, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, this piece out, down, in, up. Okay, so when the cube is scrambled, I start with formula. I use formula A on the cubes to get them where they want to, what I want to be, because it doesn't matter. Formula A is to use when you don't care if it has consequences, because it will have consequences. So here's white. Here's a white piece. It's white and blue, so I bring it over until it can match with the blue, and then I bring it up. This one, there's matches with the red, or bring it down. I usually bring it down, actually, truth be told. Line up the white, and then drop it down to the white side. Line up the white to its matching side. Above the purple, drop it down until it matches the purple, and drop it down to the right side. So I just intuit the first white edges. Over the yellow, drop it down to the yellow and to the right face side. Okay, so, and then for the corners, this one wants to go here. So formula A brings it to the top, out, down, in, up. Okay. Here's another one. This is under where it wants to be. So out, down, in, up until the white's on top. If you're more advanced, you can do the inverse of A instead. But this is designed for this method is designed for non-cubers and new cubers. It doesn't make you learn any cube language. It doesn't make you memorize which slices are named what letters. Here's a white, red, and blue. So I bring it under to the white, red, and blue, and then formula A will bring it to the top again. So with the formulas, you're looking at the front of your cube as if it were a spreadsheet with rows and columns, and the arrow represents the single slice you're going to move for that movement. So again, if we're moving the centerpiece, this would be my row, this would be my column. If I'm bringing the corners, this is my row, this is my column for Formula A. So I've brought the star parts. Okay, here's a white with yellow and purple, so I've got to bring it under where the yellow and purple is. And then Formula A again, we'll bring it to the top. I think I went too far. I moved too many pieces with my pinky. So, okay, and one more white, here it is. Formula A will bring it to the top. Okay. All right. So with just the Megaminx, it only has star parts at the center of the star parts and the corners. So there's other, when you get working with other pieces like this, I do the centers first, and the centers you can, for Formula A, you can use Formula A exclusively all the way for the white centers, all of the for the white stars, the white centers, the bold stars, the bold centers, just dealing with the centers, and then the pastel stars. You can get all of that with just Formula A, and then to fill in the rest of the corners, rest of the centers for the pastels, you switch to Formula B for that. And I'll get to that more when I do one for that one. But in the meantime, Formula A I use for the entire white face. Or I just intuit it. Looking for, okay, here's one. All right, bring it above its color, slide it to match the color, and then slide it into place on the white. Here's the white and green. Bring it over to the green side, slide it down. And I just intuit it. And then for the corners, here's a yellow and blue. Bring it under the yellow and blue. And Formula A will bring it to the top. Okay. This one is white and red and green, so I bring it over under the white, red, and green. Formula A to bring it to the top. So there's a lot of intuiting on the first face because you don't really care about it. You don't care about messing up the rest of the cube. When I am, but Formula A and Formula B moved as demonstrated will only mess up the pieces that you want to mess up. So, okay, red and blue, Formula A to bring it to the top. Actually, I usually have white on the bottom, and I do the inverse of the upside down of Formula A, which is the smooth move. One more white. Looking for, there's a white. Okay. So you kind of intuit the first face. Most people, as they're first learning the cube, will figure out how to do one face, and the one face can be done entirely with Formula A. They may not know that's what they're doing, but they put a piece under where it wants to be, they move it away, they move the space down, they move the piece into it, and then back up again. And that's how most people can do that. Who are just learning the cube can do one face. So here's a white and yellow. Here's a white with a blue. I'm going to bring it over to where the blue is. Line it up to match. Slide it into the white. Okay. Red. Slide it up. Here's a green. Slide it up. Here's a white and purple. slide it over here by the purple until it matches, and slide it up. So we've got yellow, purple, green, and red. We need white and blue. So the white star parts are done here, and then we're going to do the corners because we're on layer by layer. We can do all of the star parts and then all of the corners. We can do that. That's easily done. But I'm going layer by layer, and I don't worry about placing things placing things correctly until I get to the last layer or so. Because you want to be able to place a piece without messing up other pieces in order to get the last sections done. But for the first ones, we kind of just bully it into place as we're starting off. Okay, so we've got a white, yellow, and blue. Bring it under the white, yellow, and blue. Formula A to bring it up. If you've just joined me, I am Sunshine. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cube. Yes, I created it. It works on every complexity Rubik's Cube, as long as it's n by n by n. It'll work on some, the Whittian 3x9 works on that as well, so it works on some banded cubes. Haven't tried it on all banded cubes. And this is not a shapeshifter, but this is the plus cube. I can do it with that one. So Formula A brings piece to the top. Formula B moves three pieces around. That's all you ever need to do. Parodies are a lie. You can play with them if you want to, but you don't have to. And it also works on every complexity minx. So I'm working on my minxes, my mega minxes today, just to demonstrate how it will adapt to the minx. Okay, so here is this piece wants to be over here. The first thing I'm going to do is use Formula A to bring it down. Then I'm going to move it over under where it wants to be. And then I'm going to use Formula A to bring it to the top. Okay, and then looking for another white piece, another white corner. Here it is. Bring it under where it wants to be. Bring it under where it wants to be, and Formula A will bring it to the top. Okay. To demonstrate that I am actually using, well, let's see. There's a yellow, bring it down, move it under where the yellow is, hippity hop over, line it up with the yellow, and then slide it into the white. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, this one. Bring it down, move it under where it wants to be, line it up, and slide it back up. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. We're looking for the red and white and red. Here it is. Okay, we bring it under the red, line it up to match it, and slide it up. So I just kind of muscle the star into place. And then I find the red corners. This one's red, white corners. This one's white, red, and green. So I'm going to move it under until it gets to the white, red, and green. When it's under where it wants to be, Formula A will bring it to the top. When I'm doing the cube, I never spend any time looking for a specific piece. I just find a piece that's wrong and throw it in the right direction. But with the minx, there's so many different faces that I have to kind of plan and bounce things into place rather than just tossing. Yes, you saw me cheat there. I did the inverse of A instead of A. Okay, so this one is going to go here. It's going to bring this one down. But when I solve cubes and when I solve my puzzles, I do just use Formula A and Formula B. Is all I have ever needed to use. All I need to use. I started cubing in the 80s. Watched the first championship competition on TV live. That was fun. Discouraged me so much I put my cube down for a week. Okay, so First step is the star, and I'm going layer by layer. So I did the star first, and then I did the corners, and I did that on all of these. For this point now, I'm going to start using Formula B, and I demonstrated what Formula B does for the star parts. So it moves these 3 star parts, but it also moves these 3 corners around. So Formula B, the way to move corners for Formula B is imagine that this is one face. So we've got top row outside columns, and slide first up, back second up, slide down, slide down. And none of my columns did not include any of the center slices, so it's affected just as if it were a cube. So these three pieces moved around. I'm going to do it again so you can see where they were moving to. Okay, because 3 gets me back to the start. So if I do it one more time, these will be in the right place. And what's going to happen is this piece is going to go here, this piece is going to go here, and this piece is going to go here. Okay, so that's how I'm going to set that aside so you can see what I'm doing. So my white is now face down. I'm going to go layer by layer up, and I've done the white star parts. Next, I'm going to do the sides, the white sides. Okay, and I name my colors. There's the white and the bolds, and then there's the gray and the pastels are on the opposite sides. So I'm going to work on the bold faces first. So I'm find a piece that has a double bold. Find an edge piece, a star piece that has a double bold. If I were working with this, I would do all of the centers before I move on to the star tips and corners. So here's a yellow and purple. It's on the gray side. So I'm going to move it above where it wants to be. So it wants to come down here. Okay. I slide the orange face until it matches the center, and then I determine which direction it's going to be. So if it matched the yellow, it would go in this direction, but it matches the purple, so it's going to go in this direction. So I'm going to be using Formula B, and one of the 2 columns is the center column where it begins. So the first column is where it's going to land, second column is where it begins. Okay, and so slide first up, revert back second up, slide first down, back second down, and that is there. It moved a bunch of other things up here that we can't tell because it's scrambled. If you want to see what it looks like, I'll do it on this one. I already did, but I'll do it again if you want me to. Anybody have any questions for me? I can continue with what I'm doing because I'm having fun, or I can stop and answer questions and comments because that's more fun. So here's looking at the gray side. This has 1 bold, 1 pastel, 2 pastels, 2 pastels, 1 bold, 1 pastel, pastel and a gray. So that's not on this layer, so I'm going to go to the next layer down. Here's a pastel and a bold. Here's 2 bolds. Okay, so I'm going to bring it up to the top, hold it over where it wants to be because it wants to come down into here. Slide it forward on the face until it matches the center, and then this one's going in this direction. So first column, second column, away up, in up, away down, in down, and that is there. Okay, here's another bold, another double bold, purple and green. Move it above the purple and green, bring it down to, this one's also going to the right. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Going to the left is B as written. Going to the right is the same theory, but it's the mirror. Each move is the mirror of what B is written. Because you start by, the 2 columns are where it begins and where it's going to land, and you start by moving it away from the action to begin with. So here's one looking for a double bold. Nothing on the top. Looking on the sides. Nothing on the sides. Have to look for down below here. Here's a red and blue. I'm going to bring it to the top, bring it above where it wants to be, and bring it down. This one's going to the right. So first column, second column, and start by moving it away. Hi, Soft Ivy, how are you today? Thank you for joining me. down, down. Okay, so we've done the white star, we've done the white corners. We're working on the star parts on the white side now, and we're just looking for double bold star tips. Here's a red and green. Just line it up. All of these are going in the right direction instead of the left direction. How am I? I'm happy. I'm happy. I love playing with my cubes, and the cubing community is just made up of the best people in the world. So they've certainly made me feel welcome. I am not a speed cuber. I cube for fun, and I don't care about the time it takes because it's very therapeutic, very calming, meditative for me when I cube. So I just don't remember to try to be fast. Okay, so I'm counting to see if they're all done. There's I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're all there. I don't have to look for any more double bolts. Okay, so going layer by layer, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the 5 corners that are on the white sides. Okay, so that means I'm going to find a corner that's double bold with 1 pastel. This is 1 bold, 2 pastel. This is a gray and 2 pastel. This is a gray and 2 pastel. This is a gray and 2 bold and 2 pastel. A bold and 2 pastel. So none of those. But this one, however, has yellow and blue and the pastel of green. So I'm going to bring it to the top without messing anything up. How many cubes do I have? That is a very, very tricky question, because number one, I'd have to ask, do minxes count as cubes? Do I count them together? But honest truth is I have no idea. I don't have any idea how many cubes I have, because I've just bought several. I bought several lots of cubes off Mercari when they have things that I want, and I have cubes that are like just so that I can give them away to people who are interested. Whenever I have a basket of cubes that whenever I teach someone, they're the ones that are not my favorites. So when I teach someone and they can take one of them, and that's random sizes as well, so they can decide whether they want to take a 2x2 or a 6x6. When they have once they have learned that they can, no matter what it is, they can put it down solved. Then the size is not intimidating to anybody anymore. So I have not counted my cubes. That's a long way of saying I don't know. So this one, okay, I'm leaving this done just to demonstrate what the corners do, because I'm going to need that over here later. So white is done. I've got the white side star tips done. I'm going to do that on all of these, just so that you can see. The more I do it, the more likely I am to be doing something that's similar to the cube that you have in your hands. Whoever you are who's trying to learn, because I know there's someone out there who's going to see it who's trying to learn. So here's a double bold tip. It's purple and green. I hope it's going to come down here. So I slide the blue face until it matches the center, and this one's going to the left. Have fun. So it's B as written instead of the mirror of B. So the 2 columns are where it's going to land and where it begins. So, and the top row. Start by moving it away. So I go away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And that is placed. Okay. I'm going to demonstrate what that looks like on a solved cube, just so you guys can see what's happening. Okay. All right. So this piece wants to go here, up, up, down, down. Now 3 pieces moved. These 3 edge pieces, these 3 star tips moved, but these 3 corners moved as well. Okay. So when I'm placing pieces down, like for instance, here's a purple and yellow. I'm going to be it's going to be placing here, and then these 3 are moving and these 3 are moving. But I don't care what these are doing, because I haven't solved it yet. I only really care what that's doing when I get to the last layers. So this piece is going to go here, first row, second row, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And there it is. So we've got 1, 2, we've got more to go. I'm looking for a double bold. Here's the blue and yellow. Bring it to the top. Move it above where it wants to be. Bring it down. Okay, so this one's going to the right. First column, second column, top row. Away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And that is placed. This one wants to go here, but if I find a red and green, that'll displace it. So here's the red and green. Okay, above, down, going in this direction. Hi, first time chatter, you guys. Pen the Penguin. Hi, thank you for. How are you doing today? Thank you for joining me. I haven't seen your name before. I don't remember seeing your name before. If you've just joined me, I am Sunshine. You are a first-time chatter, but sometimes people join the chat room without talking. So sometimes I've seen people in my stream, but haven't chatted. So that's why I was being precise. Yes, you're first-time chatter. So here's a double D. This is I am Sunshine. This is the ABCube method for solving Rubik's cubes. I'm ABCube tutor. And this method works on, formula A is 4 moves, formula B is 8 moves. You have talked to him. Why are you showing as a first-time chatter then? Do you have, what is my favorite cube? Okay. Oh, a different, okay. What is my favorite? Okay. My main for cubing is usually my 7. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Usually my 7 is my main for cubing. Sometimes I'll go bigger if I want a longer process. Twitch. Oh yes. Then why did you asked if you were first time chatter? That implied that never mind. I'm confused. When I'm just playing, I've got my 5 on the cube and I've got my 7. I have 7 on the cube and my 5 on the meeks. If I want to just get out of my head and just clear my head, I use this. And if I want to be distracted and have to think about and if I need more of an effort to get away from whatever's in my head, then I go for the meekses. However, this is a fun cube. I love this cube. This is the Whittington 3x3x9. We do love confusion. The mirror cube. I have the mirror cube here. I'm happy to. I want me to jump to the mirror cube and help you solve your mirror cube. Because the mirror cube, the only difference between a mirror cube and a cube is that instead of colors, you're dealing with distances from center. Let me know if you want me to switch to the mirror cube, and I'm happy to do that. Happy to please whoever wants to talk to me. All right, so these whites are done. These whites are done. Working on this one. No, this one is my. Okay, so I've got the whites done. So I've got the white stars, white corners, white edge, star tips, and so that's what I'm working on now. This one's going to move here. Now these 3 are going to move, and also these 3, but we don't care about these corners yet until we get farther along. So top row, first column, second column, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. I'm on the people like the yellow side of a 3x3, but for mirror cubes. Oh, absolutely, you'll solve it. Here's the way that I do it. The way that I do it is because I do my corners, then I do my opposite edges, and then I do my side corners. Well, the hardest sides to measure visually on the mirror cube is the sides. So I do the where's my cube? I hold it in my hand, and then the pieces I work outside in. Oh, PLL? You use PLL? Oh, not people, PLL. You're on the PLL, like the yellow side of a 3x3, but for mirror cubes. Oh, are you so you're on the very last layer then? You're on the very last layer of because you started on the white, I always start on my yellows. Okay, so you have, on your cube, you have, the bottom is done, and the sides are done, and you're just looking at the last layer of your face. Okay, that is different than I do it. I still do the corners first. I do the longest corners first, and then I do the shortest corners, and then I hold it opposite edges to the side, and I move because the largest and the smallest are the easiest to see. So I do the longest corners, shortest corners, and then the longest and shortest edges. So I've got my opposite edges done, and then I take it and I displace from the smallest side into the sides in order to place those side pieces one at a time. But no problem. So you've done it, and you've gone layer by layer. You did the first layer, second layer. You did every notation 5 times to solve the last layer. Okay. All right. Okay. Can you tell me what your last layer looks like? Every notation. Okay. Are your corners done first? Because here's the deal. You can make yourself have a parity. So looking at the last layer of your cube, of your mirror cube, you're not home right now. Okay, well then this will be a topic of conversation when you bring your cube here. But I would still, if I was picking up a cube, any cube that's still in any state of scramble, the first thing I would do is I would still work on the corners. So so your first 4 corners are done, obviously, and your sides are done. But the next 4 corners, that's what I would look to see if the corners are done. Because if the corners are not done correctly, if the corners are off, then you're going to get a parity on the. Here's I've done this. Okay, if the corners have a parity, then you're going to get a parity for the edges as well. That's okay. Let me just give you an overview here. If your corners have a parity, you're going to get a parity on the edges. If your edges have a parity, you're going to get a parity on the corners. Because a parity is the center being 1/4 turn off. And so on a cube, you cannot have one parity. Well, if it's a void cube, you can have a parity. But in order to get this corner parity, I had to also have a center parity. Okay, my center's a 1/4 turn off. So whatever your cube looks like, do the last 4 corners the same as if you were just doing the second 4 corners. Doing the second 4 corners using the A and B to do your second 4 corners is not going to mess up any of anything you've already done. It won't mess up any of the sides that you've already done. So make sure do your corners. Because if you have parity there, you're going to get parity everywhere. So that's what I would do. And come back and tell me how it works, or bring me your cube and let me. Okay, done talking. All right, so white's done, white's done, white's done, white's done. Okay, so the star parts. Okay, so this is done. This is done. This one. This one's not done. So let me do the star tips again. Okay. So looking for a double bold. Here's the green and red. Bring it around to where it matches the center. It's going in this direction. So first column, second column, top row. Start by moving it away. Up, in, up, away, down, in, down. Thank you for thank you for engaging me with that. That's fun for me. Okay, here's a yellow and blue. Matches the center. It's going to go in this direction. Up, up, down, down. And then it landed here. So here's a green and purple. I'm going to bring it around until it matches the center. It's going in this direction. So first column, second column, away, up, in, up. Yeah, I don't have to actually see a cube in order to solve it, because I can ask concise questions. My sister, one of my sisters, every time she goes on a road trip, she takes her cube with her to keep herself occupied, and she only remembers how to do the first 2 layers. And so when she gets to that last layer, she'll call me from the road and she'll say, okay, here's what my cube looks like. What do I do now? And I will describe to her. She doesn't know A and B because she learned the beginner's method. So I will just walk through. She tells me what the cube looks like. I mirror it on my cube, and then I walk through what to do. Just manually doing it. I mean, I know the notation. I can do that. But I'll also say things like rotate the top row so that the cube that's in the front top left moves to the top right, which I could just say up minus, but for people who don't know the terminology, the notation, I can still solve the cube regardless if I'm not seeing it. So we'll do that, and then she'll say, okay, my cube's solved now, thanks, bye, and she'll hang up. Like, okay, nice to talk to you. Here's red and blue. It's going in this direction. Slide up, slide up, slide down, slide down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one's done. So this one's done, this one's done, this one's done, and this one is not. So this last one, and then we'll call it a day. And then we'll do the middle layer tomorrow. So looking for double bolds again. 1, 2, 3. Not on the top layer. Not on the second layer. Looking at the middle layer. Here's a red and blue. Bring it to the top. Over where it wants to be. Slide it down. Match the center. And first column, second column. Start by moving away. All right, so that's one. Okay, here's purple and green. Up, over where it wants to be, slide it down. First column, second column, start by moving away. Up, up, down, down. Okay, here's red and green. Above where it wants to be. Slide it down to match the center and determine its direction. Start by moving away. Up, up, down, down. 1, 2, okay, this one is a single bold, that's a gray, okay, so here's a blue and yellow. Bring it to the top, above where it wants to be, bring it down. First column, second column, start by moving away. Up, up, down, down. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we've got one more. The purple and yellow is the one I'm looking for. Here it is. Bring it to the top, above where it belongs. Slide it down until it matches. First column, second column, start by moving away. Up, up, down, down. Okay, so I was going to, I'll reset this one because I don't need it this way anymore. So these three are moving up, up, down, down, and once more this one's going to move here, up, up, down, down. Okay, and then for these three, top row, outside columns, moves these corners, so moves these pieces. If they're in the right place but just needed to be twisted, I would do formula A. But to move pieces around, it's formula B. All right. I will say really quickly that Formula A and Formula B, you'll notice neither of them is a parity algorithm. That is because a parity is a lie, and you do not have to play with them unless you want to. Parity is where it looks like there's two pieces and only two pieces that need to switch places, as opposed to where you have two pieces that are in the right place but need to be flipped. But either way, you're using three pieces. So if you have two pieces and only two pieces that need to switch places, there is always three pieces. The third piece that you do not see is the piece that you do not see. It is the layer, the slice, inner slice that is touching that parity is 1/4 turn off. We don't care because we can make the centerpieces match any way they want to. But the cube cares whether one of those layers is a 1/4 turn off. So if you make the layer the slice that touches your parity, turn it 1/4 turn either direction, and then solve the edges in that orientation, and the parity is poof gone. So a parity can look like an edge piece, like a corner piece, or it can look like an edge piece. But since I do the corners first, the parities that show up are always edge pieces. And if I do the corners, then the edges, and I haven't done the centers yet, so it's no problem for me to just make a single 1/4 turn on the slice that touches the parity, because I haven't done the centers, so I'm not messing anything up. If you have done the centers first, because you're doing a reduction method, you will have to reset those centers, and so maybe it's easy for you to use the parity algorithm. But there's I don't teach it. So, all right, that's it for me for today. I will come back and we will do the perimeter, the equator tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Thank you guys for joining me. It's always happy to see that I'm not talking to myself. Go have fun. Go have a fun day. Don't drink lots of water. Go be nice to yourself, and come join me tomorrow. Anybody want to say bye? Okay, bye guys.